Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to the Tony and Dakota podcast. Today, we got a real special guest.
This is Alex West. We just met Alex not too long ago at VCon when we went to Minneapolis. He does a lot. He has a lot of different jobs, actually. Well, jobs, side hustles, interests. He's doing a lot of cool stuff with between buying NFTs, skydiving. He's training to become a skydiving instructor, right?
We'll get there.
And then also full-time job still at Renewables.
Yep.
Okay. He's got a full-time job. He's got a kid, or one kid,
Two kids.
two kiddos. And we're going to be asking him a lot of questions about a lot of his different interests. This is Alex West.
Thanks for coming on, bro.
Appreciate you having me. First of all, this place is legit. This ain't your mama's basement out here.
Dude, you know what's crazy? That's actually how the whole idea started. We were, I don't know if you know Alex Clark, but we started in his basement, and then his brothers like got a bunch of like weird stuff. We're like, dude, we got to create a studio like this.
Yeah,
So,
it looks real cool.
thanks, bro.
Real cool.
I think his ceiling was a little lower. That was the only thing with his. It was actually in the basement.
Yeah, it was in the
Was it?
basement.
Yeah, there you
in his
go.
parents' basement.
Started from the bottom down here, baby.
Yep.
So did you go, you had Excelsior College on your Facebook bio. Did you go to college, or what did that look like?
Yeah, went to college for electrical engineering. I was about a year away, and then did the old Big D, got the divorce, and pretty much changed my plans to where now I'm just investing. So didn't finish college, but that's okay because investing and skydiving is way more interesting than looking at electrical circuits.
Yeah.
I do.
That's something that we always like to talk about because obviously there's a lot of people that have pushed college. I think right now, actually just saw Gary Vee talking about it, how like it's almost become like very cool and like more socially acceptable to be like an investor now. So it's almost like
Right.
it is turning.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah, like it's like, all right, here it is. Like this is the new way, and so like now it's cool to do it. But like, what do you think about like going to college? Do you wish you would have finished? Do you regret it? Do you think everybody should go to college? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, it's all dependent on the person. So for me, that's one of my biggest parenting tips right now that I'm really trying to develop and like think about is my son, he's not into school. That's not somebody that wants to go to college. So I want to show him different opportunities, real estate investing, starting a business, doing what he likes, because that's not talked about enough right now. If you're into college, if you do good in school, if you want to be a doctor, then college is necessary. But
Right.
it's all about the person.
Yep.
What do you want?
Yep. What do you feel? Do you feel like you're like, man, I wish I would just finish it out, or you're like, dude, this is the best? Why did I even go? Or like, why did you go to college? I guess is a better question.
Honestly, that's end game. That's end game right now. But I actually went to college to get in the space industry. So absolute dream would be to get into space, and we're working on that.
That's awesome.
10-year plan.
That's awesome.
So you're going to go back and get a degree so that you can get in a
Yeah, that's Elon Musk's
spaceship?
requirement.
Yeah.
Is to go to space, you have to have a degree.
And that's the thing. Elon Musk's requirement is not to have a degree.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Elon. If you're listening to this.
He has artificial intelligence listening to this,
Yeah,
and he's
exactly.
just like, so many people
Exactly.
mention
Just
my
cherry
name. I'm
picking.
just-
Yep. That's cool.
Well, I did see. Did you see that? Well, I'm sure you've seen it, but the Red Bull jumper. It was like the fastest humans ever been traveled because usually there's fluid friction. So when you jump out of a plane, you reach terminal velocity at like 4 seconds. You accelerate, and then the air pushing up on you is equivalent to your surface area going down. So you can get a little bit faster by tucking your arms in and doing like cutting through the air at an angle. But like besides that, you're not going to get any faster. So what you have to do is go up much higher in space. And that was really cool seeing that. That dude started like flipping out of control and
Yeah,
stuff. I was
well,
I was a little nervous.
He said he passed out or something like
Yeah.
that, which is, I mean, makes sense. You got me excited with that angle diving, though. Now we're talking skydiving fundamentals.
Are you gonna put a space helmet on and do a base jump and try and beat the Red Bull record?
It's in the works. It's in the works, baby.
That's awesome.
So you quit college early. Did you get into, it looked like you're a site lead tech, so did you work your way up in a factory? Is that what the renewables place is?
No, so we can start a little bit early. Early on, right out of college, or well, I would say high school, I guess, at this point. Right out of high school, didn't know what I was going to do. And basically went to my local college, local community college, looking for a journeyman lineman position. And they said, hey, we don't offer this anymore, but we do have this other thing. It's called wind turbine technology. And I said, well, that sounds awesome. I like heights. I like technology. So let's go for it. Finished my degree there. And again, I'm from Cleveland. So Cleveland area, I should say, Loraine-ish. But during 08, 09, they were, number 3 hit? It was real bad. There's no jobs. There's no nothing. So we had
didn't LeBron help him?
Yeah, I know. He did, though. He brought that ship.
Good.
He brought that ship. But so we had to move. So immediately after finishing up my college, went down to Texas, like super deep Texas. Like you're talking down here, 15 minutes from Mexico.
You speak Espanol?
Sí, poquito. Poquito. It's been a while. It's been a while. But so yeah, I started my career down there and then moved around. Came into Indiana and Monticello first, like Lafayette area, Purdue, and then made our way back up here. So this is about as close as we're going to get to Cleveland.
That's where the renewables comes in with the job. So I remember now, we were talking before when we were in Minneapolis, you guys bought us some drinks.
Yeah.
And that's why my memory is a little foggy on it. But you were climbing wind turbines.
Yeah.
So people from the Cleveland area are not afraid of heights. Then,
no.
Is what
ain't afraid of nothing.
So that's pretty cool. What do you still experience the same fear? Like, do you still get like butterflies and stuff like that when you're up that high? Or do you just feel like super safe now? You're just like, dude, podcasts are scary, but like climbing wind turbines, like give me.
No, it's the exact opposite, man. This is out of my comfort zone. I'll work 300 feet. I'll work 14,000 feet. But this is a little bit different. Yeah. For sure.
Yep.
But no, I mean, obviously, like skydiving is my absolute love right now. So heights don't scare me at all. I actually feel like the traditional fear that people experience, like that's where I thrive. So trying to push my way more into something like that.
So you've been doing some skydiving regularly, and are you thinking about, because you've gotten to the point now where you can jump by yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Jump solo?
Yep.
And you want to get in enough jumps to the point where you can be a skydiving instructor as like a side hustle or like as your primary income, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, so because of my shoulder injury, I had a shoulder injury many times actually. It's been like a 10-year issue. So the instructor aspect of it, I'm not really into because I don't want to hurt it again. But really what I'm looking into is camera flying and then doing like promotional stuff. I want to jump off of stuff and get paid for it. That's what I'm looking for.
Have you done the wingsuit at all?
Not yet. Nope. No, but I actually do have a camp coming up with Red Bull. So one of their athletes, Miles Dasher, he holds a camp regularly in Idaho. So I'll be doing that as a base camp. So it'll be the first time I'm base jumping. That's where it gets a little awesome. Sketchy.
Yeah, that's scary, dude. That's a whole nother level.
Have you had any close calls so far skydiving?
Oh yeah. One of the worst times of my life was actually dislocating my shoulder skydiving. That was absolutely
tell
terrible.
us a story on that one.
All right, so little backstory to that is so I I originally dislocated my shoulder in a wrestling match my junior year.
Have you been thinking about investing in real estate?
It's not like what you see on HGTV.
We created a course to show you how to really invest and create a profitable flipping and wholesaling business.
We give you marketing strategies like how to pull lists, who we target, and where we find the money.
We go over sales, which includes live calls and negotiations, scripts, role-playing, and so much more.
Everything that you need to know to flip houses is in this course. And if there's anything that we missed, we will create a video to answer your specific question.
This knowledge has made us over $1 million, and we're selling it today for just $997. Click the link below.
Wrestling was my life. I was wrestling like the easiest kid I've ever wrestled. Took him down like 10 seconds into the match. We go out of bounds, ref calls the whistle, and he turns the other way, dislocates my shoulder. So at that point, had to get surgery. I beat him, beat the next kid, then had to get shoulder surgery after that. It was a labrum surgery, but didn't really do much. So after the surgery, I probably dislocated my shoulder 20 times.
Oh my gosh.
Whether it be skydiving, whether it be boxing, any of that. So back to the skydiving incident. I was jumping with a couple of my friends, doing something pretty routine. They're called accordion fly rounds, where basically you fly around the group and grab each other's forearm, and then the other guy does it. So I was the first one, and I wanted to get some rotations going. I wanted to get some turns. They call them turns in skydiving. So I was coming in a little bit hot. Nothing crazy, though. Reached out, grabbed his forearm, boom. Dislocation. So now I'm sitting there looking at the ground. It's getting closer. I'm like, man, because usually, so every time before that, it's always just pop back in. This one did not pop in. So I'm sitting there like, okay, what are you going to do? You've got to pull. Like, you obviously have to pull. So I pulled, hoping that the impact would jar back into place. So I pull, boom, still dislocated. I'm like, okay, now how am I gonna land? Yeah, because you got toggles. It deploys, right? And so that you're hoping that when it deploys and all the wind ends up in the parachute, that it gives you a bump. Right. So you're hoping that your shoulder went back in, and it didn't. Did not. But then you've got these two little, for people who haven't skydived before, you get these two little handles that come down, and then you can control your parachute above you. But you only got one arm. So what are you going to do? This is perfect. You preface this so well. So basically, I can't move my shoulder, so I got this one. I grab my hand, put it up there, but it's not doing anything. It's dislocated. So I'm like, okay, how am I gonna land? We call it flaring, and that's how you drop the forward and downward momentum so you can land nicely. But I only have one hand. So anyways, my whole thought on it was I was gonna take both of the toggles with one hand and pull down and try to flare as effectively as possible. Well, we got to the point where the ground was 15 feet away from me. I try to pull, but obviously I pull this way, and my wing over here drops down there. Boom, smacked the ground. Still didn't relocate, and then eventually went to the emergency room and got it popped back in. So luckily you still had a helmet on, right? Still had a helmet. Yeah. So when you hit, you probably hit like your shoulder / the side of your head, and you were kind of spiraling as you were coming down. Then, right? Did you have like a corner, like some sideways momentum? Really, when I was actually landing pretty good. The only thing was when I pulled this way, I had downward momentum on the left side.
So your feet went out from under you?
Yeah. I tried to PLF, but with a arm that's not working.
So what was your what was the injuries like then? Like, how bad were you after that? Like, were you unconscious, or were you conscious the whole time, just freaking messed up from your shoulder, or was there more damage after that?
No, it was all shoulder, but again, I dislocated it so many times before then. I knew what the deal was. Luckily, I only walked away with that with the continued dislocation.
Wow.
And yeah, so I would say above all, it went pretty well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and have you seen anybody like like get hurt or fall or anything like that?
Yeah, I have. I don't like to paint skydiving in a bad light, but yeah. Overall, one thing I will say is when people are getting hurt in skydiving, if you want to do skydiving, you should definitely try it. It's definitely a bucket list item. The people that get hurt are the people that are very experienced, people with thousands of skydives, pushing the limit. So I will say that. Yeah. That's who the people you see get hurt.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've heard of a lot of people getting hurt too when they try to make the transition into squirrel suit too fast. Mm-hmm. You know, they're trying to just go from being a skydiver to like being a stunt man.
Right.
And so you're talking about doing some camera stuff. Mm-hmm. Like you got to make sure that you get in enough, because you said you haven't done it yet, but like obviously there's a lot of training and preparation and like making sure that you're prepared for absolutely everything in the air that can happen in the air, as well as like landing correctly and that sort of thing. I've seen these people doing the like, you know, threading the needle kind of things where there's like an obstacle and they're trying to end up right between two big rocks or something like that. And it's like, that's the kind of stuff where you start risking your life for just the glory of being able to do these stunts.
Which is fine too, but you have to be experienced for that. Don't have 300 skydives trying to thread the needle going 300 miles an hour. Yeah. Leave that to Red Bull.
Yeah, and I was saying, I don't think it's always just about like notoriety or glory. Like sometimes, like dude, like you just want to see what you're capable of. Yeah, it's just fun. It's like, dude, let's freaking go. Like I've been there because I've done like, you know, skateboarding and like done certain things where it's like, dude, it's not. There could be nobody around, and I'm still gonna try to freaking hit this trick or whatever, and I'm gonna try to jump this thing. Not for anybody else. It's just like, can I do it? Like it's just a weird thing that we do as humans.
Yeah.
But
that again, that's where I thrive. But that's where you need to check yourself, and you need to make sure that you're prepared before that.
No question.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hit a mega ramp on a skateboard.
Right.
If I never dropped in.
Yep. I'll say it's a big difference too. I can't even imagine the adrenaline, because like, dude, there's a stupid amount of adrenaline going through you whenever you're skateboarding and you're going down. Like, let's just say even from like, I don't know, half the ceiling down, the adrenaline is ridiculous. Oh, yeah. And you're not gonna die more than likely if you fall. So like, I can't even imagine what you're going through when you're going that fast and like just.
And again,
pumping.
that's where my focus starts.
Yeah.
Like you'll never be more focused than trying to get to a round in skydiving. You understand the risks. You understand everything that's involved, and you understand that there's other people involved, your friends. And that's where I dial in.
Yep. I'll say, so that actually brings us to another thing that I wanted to ask you about. I've noticed that usually when like you have adrenaline junkies, you have like people who are in fighting or in sports or something. That's the time that they're the most present. So it's almost difficult for them to be present in like relationships or other things, because like you have to be very excited to actually like get that presence. So like, have you noticed yourself have that at all? Or like, what is your kind of relationships like with friends or your significant other or your kids?
Yeah, for sure. I've noticed that a lot. Like the best way I can describe it is, and we're kind of stealing from Gary Vee here, but the person who is 100% happy going to work for 8 hours a day, coming home and coaching his son's soccer team, whatever, and he's fully happy with that. I envy that. I envy that. I would love to be fully happy with that. Unfortunately, life is on a spectrum, and I like to call it like 1 being your absolute worst day possible, 10 being the absolute most exciting day possible. A lot of people like living in that 4 to 6 range. They don't want to risk it, and they don't want to risk the 1s to feel the 10s. Unfortunately, that's not how I operate. I like living in the 7 and 10s with the risk of dealing with the 1s to 3s. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yep. Do you ever like feel like the 10s keep getting more intense? Because that's what we're talking about here is like you're doing some high level stuff that's like risking your life, and then whenever you get to that capacity, you're like, well, what else can I do? And it almost like you have to keep exceeding that. Do you see yourself doing that more?
Fortunately, I'm pretty satisfied with the process. I like building to be a better skydiver. I logged over 220 skydives. That's nothing in the industry. There's people with 20,000 skydives, 15,000 skydives. But I like the process of getting better. Okay, now you're good at belly flying. Now you're going to start angle flying. Now you're going to start free flying. Oh, now we're going to do a base jump camp. Now we're going to start wingsuiting. So that's what I'm most interested in, is just watching the progression that I do.
Dude, that's what I always talk to people about, is like, that is literally what success is.
Right.
Is like the progression of things. Is like you found something that you want to pursue and you see yourself growing in it. And I feel like that's what makes you happy, is whenever you're growing in something. I've noticed that usually when you, like, obviously went to PSI, which is the seminar thing, they always say you're either growing or dying, but also like your happiness is kind of dependent on if you're growing or not. It seems like in every area, if it's growing, dude, everything's great. You feel like it's successful. You feel like you're on the right path, even if it's so slow. It could be the slowest thing ever, and you're like, I'm getting there. And like, yeah, that's what I think the definition of success is. No matter what it is,
For sure.
whatever you're growing in, and you actually have
Success and
some.
happiness. I mean, that's what the most confusing thing about growing up was for me, because I didn't have a lot of role models. So I kind of did this on the fly. So first thing I thought of, I was one of those guys. I had a 16 and pregnant type thing. So my son was at my graduation. So first thing it was all right, now I need to set up a life for this guy who has no say in the game. So for me, that was all financial. It was all financial. I got to make him financially secure. So for the first 10 years of my adult life, that's all I focused on. And then once you start noticing, the big thing was divorce. Noticing that like money is not what I'm focused on. I'm focused on happiness. So that's what I'm super excited about and super like trying to develop, is how to be financially free while I'm doing what I love, which is skydiving and investing.
That's awesome that you're doing that too, because it's like it'd be good to be an example of like you're still chasing your dreams and doing that for your son, because that's going to be very important for him to see that in his life. They're like, yeah, hey, I'm going to take care of you, but also I'm going to go live my dreams too. So that's awesome, man.
Right, and that's all I want him to do, is you got to live your life the way that you want to live it.
Yep.
If you're not cut out for college, like we were saying before, then don't go to college.
Right.
You can figure something else out.
Yep.
Something that's tough for extreme athletes, though, I see, UFC fighters who like should have cut it off a little earlier than they did. So you can still continue to like be around the things that you love and like coach and that sort of thing. But there's like sort of a shelf life to something like skydiving. Like I've seen guys who are 50 doing it. I don't see a lot of 60-year-olds skydiving anymore.
I just jumped with somebody that was 70 years old.
Really?
You got a 70-year-old card.
Will there be a time, you think, when you cut it off, or will there be a time where you decide that it's like you're done with it, or maybe like your interests change and then you're just like, I think that I'm done skydiving now? Do you think there'll ever come a point where you're like, you allow that identity to change, or do you think that you're a skydiver for life?
I'm really good with fluctuating and like seeing how I feel, being in the present. With that being said, I feel like it's gonna be skydiving for life. If that changes, then it changes. But that's what I love to do.
Nice.
So I've noticed that, like, for me personally, I always like hit something. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get golden gloves, or I'm going to win this competition, and then I'm done, basically. So that's pretty cool. You're like, all right, I want to do this forever. Because, like, even now, like, with the business, I'm like, all right, like, we're probably going to do real estate forever. But at the same time, like, I want to get out of it more to where it's more passive than what it is now. So I'm still always looking towards the end in mind. So that's pretty cool. You're like, no, dude, this is life.
It's a process, man, and it's exciting. But with that being said, I'm super excited for you guys. You guys have really built something crazy here.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
I was looking at your notes. I was like, dude, is he about to interview us?
We can.
I was like, he wrote some stuff down. I was like, I've never seen any of our guests bring paper.
Well, we were talking about real estate. You got into real estate a little bit. You had a few duplexes that I know of. I don't know how many deals you've done or how many total, or if it's kind of like a side thing, or if it's you want to make it into more of your main thing. So where are you at in your real estate journey? Tell us about some of the deals that you've done. And then how do you find your deals? How do you know it's a good one? What even got you interested in the first place?
Yeah. So first off, going back to 2018, when I started realizing that true happiness comes from financial freedom, that's when I started trying to think of ideas, how to get financially free, how to not have a 9 to 5. And that first started with crypto. Crypto started around 2017. I was still married at the time and doing really little trades and whatnot, but really got excited about it. After that, when I started getting real deep into it, so I sold my house, basically put all that money into crypto.
Dang, how much was it? How much did you put in?
About 30 grand.
Wow.
In 2017.
Wow. And what specifically?
A lot of Ethereum.
Ethereum?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So, people talking about this bear market. I'm talking to everybody right now. This is the time to build. Oh yeah. Don't get panicked.
I keep buying more every time it goes down. Like, oh, it went down again. All right, I'm buying more.
Yeah.
Oh, it went down again. All right, I'm gonna buy some
Couple
more.
more.
Oh, Voyager's going under. All right, I'm gonna buy some more.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the thing is like, so, okay, you can say from my all-time highs, we're down 50, 60%.
Yep.
But look back from when I started.
Yeah.
From when I started, I'm still,
Yeah,
however, 5x, 10x.
Yep.
So that's what you need to focus on. But yeah, when I started seeing the crypto gains is when I started thinking, okay, so how do I make this money cash flow? And that was easy enough as a Google YouTube search. Real estate is the king of cash flow. So bought my first duplex in 2020, and that one's doing really well.
Did you get a good deal on that one since COVID happened?
Real good deal.
Dang.
Real good deal. I think if I ever were wanting to sell it, then I would do pretty good. But I don't see that in the near future. But yeah, after that, basically I wanted to have a good exit strategy for crypto, which to me was real estate. So I started buying houses off of my real estate gains, or buying houses off of my crypto gains. Wish I could have done more. We tried, but I mean, you guys obviously know better than me. 2020, 2021, 2022 was a dog-eat-dog world in the real estate market.
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping to have 5 duplexes, ended up with 2. But that's still good. Still good, and then we're going to continue to build now. So.
And you flip one too?
Did flip one, yep. So that one we got for, first of all, shout out to Tammy Fent. She's my realtor. She's amazing. She's a wizard.
Yeah, we know Tammy.
Yeah,
we worked over at Keller Williams with her. She actually
did you?
Yeah, she brought us a deal. There was a deal, and then we had so many projects going on, and we weren't taking as big of risks back then. So
it was a tight one too. And I know the person who ended up buying that duplex or that single family home from her ended up going through some stuff with the foundation and the banks, and flipping sometimes is so clean, so easy, so nice. 75% of the time something comes up and it gets stupid and you have to make repairs or the financing falls through. And after hearing the story of that house selling, I think we're glad we didn't buy it. However, would have loved to have started that relationship with Tammy by showing her that we were serious buyers. So you never know. Sometimes just by buying stuff, you become good friends with people, and then it leads to better fortune in the future. So it can be worth it just to take the chance.
Yeah, she definitely knows how to get a good deal.
For sure.
Or like show you one. Hey,
exactly.
She's like, hey, this person is like wanting to get out. They want cash. They want as is. Can you do it? Bam. It's usually a good deal, and she knows what she's doing.
And
so
that's what it is. Yeah. Basically, to put some numbers on the table, the one you're talking about was 170. I got it for 170. Had it under contract for 280, but the appraisal came out bad. So ended up selling it for 260.
Wow. How much did you put into it?
I would say, I'd have to look at the numbers, but I would say 20, 30 grand.
Nice. So you made like, after everything's all said and done, probably what, 65 to 70?
Something like that. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's a good flip.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good flip.
Didn't do too bad with it.
Yep.
So you took some of your crypto, and then you're able to buy an NFT with it. A lot of people don't know anything about NFT. NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it's a digital representation of ownership. It's artistic in nature. A lot of times there's like an image, so people make fun of them just being, PNGs or JPEGs, but really it's something that is put on a blockchain. So it could be the Ethereum blockchain. It could be a handful of other ones. Bitcoin's not very good for logging ownership of non-fungible tokens. But for folks who are getting into this technology, it's only like 3% of the population owns one of these things or something. I can't remember how many million people versus how many billion people are in the world actually own NFTs. And then only 1 out of 100 NFTs is actually successful. So Alex has quite a few NFTs. How many NFTs do you have?
I don't know. A lot. Crypto excites me more than NFTs, but with the NFTs, I always say you got to buy the person building the NFT. There's obviously, like you were saying, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of bull crap out there that you can waste your money on. So something that we relate to was VCon.
Did you buy one?
Oh yeah.
You did? You got a
I think he has a couple.
I only have one. I got some V Friends 2s though.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't?
No, which ones you got?
I got the Daring Dragonfly.
Nice.
Yeah. Very rare. Yeah. So but that's what I'm saying is like I'm buying into Gary V. I'm not buying into Joe Schmo off the street because he's got cool art or promises an event with Waka Flocka Flame or something.
Yep. Did you buy any of Ryan Pineda's at all, or did you see him?
Actually, a mutual friend, Dave Rosenbeck, told me about Ryan Pineda's, and I have to check more into that.
Nice.
But I would definitely be more interested in looking at it. I've only went as far as watching a YouTube video.
Yep.
But again, I mean, it's Ryan Pineda, so
yeah,
something worthwhile to look at, especially for all the real estate investors.
Yeah, that's basically what he's trying to do, is do something like, we don't even know what it is. Just like you said, we're buying into the person more than we are, the thing. Just like Gary, like Tony bought his for $3,000.
Yeah, it ended up being like $2,000, really.
Oh, wow. $2,000. He sold it for like 13,000 or something like that, and that was just because Gary like built it up that much. And so I kind of think Ryan's gonna do the same thing. Like, dude, he takes everything and goes hard with it. So, David was talking about buying one. I'm like, bro, you talk about buying one?
Buy 10.
Yeah, I was like, I would buy a minimum of 5 because he said he gets something special at 5. So like $2,500. That's usually the cost of one NFT for most anybody. So just buy 5.
Now you guys are getting me hyped up. I'm looking at Ryan Pineda for the next all weekend.
Yeah,
it's ruined my weekend.
Something that's really cool about NFTs too is the ability to write smart contracts. So for Gary V, the V Friends, anyone who buys one of his NFTs receives a ticket to VCon, a conference. It was a 3-day conference this year. It might be more days in the future. I think there was a fourth day too, like a celebration type thing the day before like the actual event started. And basically you get a free ticket to that conference for the next 2 years now, it would be. But also anytime one of those is sold on the Ethereum blockchain through OpenSea, Gary gets a 10% royalty paid to him. And so there are so many different things that you can do with those smart contracts that NFTs basically become like this legal structure. Like Ryan Pineda was talking about how they could possibly replace title companies in the future because it shows, it shows ownership. The only issue with crypto and NFTs is there's not a whole lot of regulation around them, which makes it good for an unstable and unpredictable government situation. Like if you're more libertarian and you're worried about inflation and you're worried about the government and government control. However, if somebody finds out the password to your wallet, there's no one there to save you when they go to steal everything from you. So the security and the responsibility and everything is completely on you. That's the scary thing about crypto and NFT, and the liberating thing at the same time.
Yeah, let's put that into perspective for people, though, because this is something that I saw Steve Train talk about is, let's say that they do replace a title company, and then now you buy a property, and then somebody gets your password. You now could have your house stolen from somebody who got your crypto wallet or whatever and did it online, and now your house is gone. They tell you get out. Now they're the new owner. So there's still some stuff that they got to work through. But
yeah, and it's still early. It's still early, but
way early,
that is super. That's what's super exciting about it is just get your hands in it.
Yeah.
Because that is you guys brought up an awesome point is there's so many scams, especially in the NFT industry. So many scams.
And they're convincing.
They're convincing. And that's the thing is you got to walk through those to get to experience, like to an experienced investor where you understand what's a scam, you understand what not to open, but some people don't. Some people don't. And then sometimes it even goes one step further to where your favorite NFT project's Twitter gets hacked and they send a link down. You connect your wallet to that, and now you just lost everything. So definitely got some scams, but keep your wits about you. Find somebody who's experienced in the thing and send it everything, and go slow. There's no surprise pop-up drops. There's nothing like that. Like that's a scam. Talk to your people that know more about it before you connect your wallet to some crazy site.
Nice. Have you had any thing happen to you where you're like, oh snap, I wish I wouldn't have done that?
Yeah, actually, touching on the losses. Yeah, there was one that it's super embarrassing to talk about. I've actually never talked to anyone about it. But, yeah, basically, there was a YouTube video with Vitalik Buterin, which, if you guys don't know, he's the founder of Ethereum, and he was doing a live session. And basically what somebody did was take that live session.
Are you letting deals fall through the cracks because you don't have good systems in place?
We've been there before, and we've tried several different CRMs, and Ari Simply has been the best.
Ari Simply tracks your KPIs, does automatic follow-ups for you, and even records your incoming phone calls.
The system is simple to use and has more features than we even know what to do with.
If you're looking for a great CRM, try Ari Simply today. We put the link in the description. Check it out now.
Put it on a different platform and then put a website right next to it saying we're doing this promotion. We're trying to get Ethereum going, and if you stake this amount of Ethereum, you're gonna get this amount of Ethereum back. And this was early days, so it was 5 Ethereum, which back then was like $1,000, but right now
it's like 10 grand.
It hurts.
10 to 15.
It hurts. thinking about that. But yeah, that's probably my most major loss for sure.
So you just sent somebody 5 Ethereum on accident, basically.
Just sent it to him. There you go, buddy.
There you go. Merry Christmas.
Exactly.
That's crazy. So what would you say? I mean, you already went over a couple of common like things that people should watch out for. Is there anything else that you think of like, hey man, watch out for these common scams? Like what are other common ones you see? Obviously they get control of the Twitter feed. Is there any other suggestions?
Oh, there's several suggestions, but the number one thing I like to talk about, which we already talked about before, is like buy the person.
Yeah.
You got to buy the person. If your buddy who was working at Crazy Pins and then he was working at Chuck E. Cheese and now he's got a crypto coin coming out, like don't invest in that.
Yeah.
Like you want to invest in some serious investors. Listen to the people who have made money on traditional systems and are getting into crypto. The Kevin O'Leary's, Mark Cuban's, all of that. And do your own research. But the biggest thing I can say is buy the person. And it's hard. That's hard to do when you talk about crypto. So there's crypto and then there's NFTs. Crypto, I like to, just to help people who are not in the industry, is crypto to me, like the best representation of that is like buying a stock. Mm-hmm. So you're buying Ethereum, you're buying Amazon. That's what you're doing. But with NFTs, you're buying kind of like an angel investing into a business. Yeah. So with that being said, you gotta flow with the market. So like right now we're in a bear market. So buy into the fundamentals, the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, the top 10s. If you're buying into NFTs, buy into the person that's still building right now, not taking profits.
Or would you even buy stuff that you feel like is going down in value because the market's going down in value, like some of these Bored Apes, like some of the original gangster type NFTs? Mm-hmm. Would you like buy those when they hit the bottom because you think they're going to come back?
I don't think they're going to hit a bottom. I mean, their bottom right now is 95 ETH. Yeah, 95 ETH. That's, I guess right now it's.
Oh, I saw a guy.
It's cheaper.
I'll say, yeah, I saw a guy that bought one for like, I think it was 105,000, which is, I mean, that's cheap.
Well, they just bought a Gold Ape at 849 Ethereum. Well, wrapped Ethereum, so that's, I don't know, 850K.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I kind of forgot the question. What was that?
Oh, just would you go after some of those NFTs that have kind of been proven to be, an artistic staple where you're like, oh, this is where it all started. I'm going to go back and buy VFriends now that everything's going for lower amounts of money.
Definitely. Yeah. And I check OpenSea every day. So,
dude, I remember you talked about like all these people come up to you and like, dude, that was what VCon was. That's all it was to me, was like, hey, I got this new NFT project. Hey, you want to work with me on this NFT project? It was like a bunch of like just people. Everybody's like got one now. So yeah, definitely got to watch out. So dude, name drop the ones that you've bought. Like who have you bought into? Now you've already said, did you buy stuff from Mark Cuban and like Kevin O'Leary, or like tell me everyone that you bought, or like name some people.
So the top 2 I'm interested in right now that I'm heavy in is Gary V Friends, because he's gonna just destroy this industry for the next 50 years. As well as he's called Journey. You can look him up on YouTube. He's big into the gaming space, gaming and metaverse, which I honestly have no interest in. I'm not big into gaming. I'm not big into metaverse, whatever. But I've watched him for so long, for years. I've seen the gains that he's made. I've gotten a relative amount of money that he's made, and he's putting all of that towards his project. So those are the 2 that I'm really big into right now. Along with, I'm always open to other ones, such as Ryan Pineda. There it is. Yep. There it is. Like, why would you not?
Yeah.
It's the 2020 version of buying into a business.
Yep, that's awesome. And then So last thing, I guess, on NFTs, unless Tony's got any other questions, but what is the wallet that you like to use? Like, I know there's MetaMask, which is what Gary suggested. Do you have multiple? Do you have, like, freaking you pull it off the thing, or like any other ways to protect yourself any better?
Yeah, I do MetaMask for connecting to my OpenSea, but obviously I do some cold storage as well. Get that off of the markets in case of a breach or something into an exchange.
Explain to people what that is, because a lot of people will not know.
So basically, you're a little bit better now, but back in the days, the 2015s, before me, Bitcoin and kind of Ethereum were so brand new. And essentially, the exchanges that you could buy Bitcoin and Ethereum on, one of them, it's called Mt. Go. That was the biggest breach that caused an actual crash. Mt. Go got breached. A bunch of people lost their Bitcoin, lost their money, obviously. So what you want to do to protect yourself from that is take your crypto, take it off of the exchange or off of a hot wallet, which is MetaMask, Portis wallet, anything you want to use, and put it into a cold storage wallet, which is a Ledger. I use Ledger Nano. It's really good, and essentially that takes your crypto offline. It's basically a little USB storage device, and unless somebody has your password on that USB storage device, your crypto's safe.
So then, in order to move your cryptocurrency or exchange it or do anything with your cryptocurrency, you need one of those USBs, and you would plug it into your computer, and you would basically give it permission to move then.
Right. Exactly. And then obviously don't be plugging it into the library's computer or something. But
Yeah, dude, I remember somebody else, I can't remember if it was at VCon or what.
Amber?
Yeah, maybe it was Amber or somebody, but they talked about, you're right, it was Ryan Pineda's event, talking about like how like you should really be on your own Wi-Fi, be secured. But like, I'm like, 100%. Oh my gosh, dude, there's like 1,000 times over my head on that stuff.
Yeah, some people have lost millions of dollars just by having people take their crypto from them because they put usually they give you a 12-digit or a 12-word phrase when you create your MetaMask wallet. It's extremely important that you write that down and keep it somewhere safe, like in a safe, or come up with some creative way to hold on to that password. But if you keep it in your phone notes and someone hacks your iCloud and gets that 12-word passphrase, they can take absolutely everything from you. So, just like Alex is saying, it's just, in order to stay safe, you got to take additional precautions because it's completely up to you. The security is completely up to you. I guess for folks too that were like extremely anxious about the security of it, you could go on Coinbase, buy some Ethereum or buy some Bitcoin. At least you have a corporation then that's kind of responsible for maintaining your account. Then you're kind of trusting Coinbase, but they still have some security and like they'll still, guarantee that you get your money back if they make mistakes. So, I mean, Voyager is going under though. I mean, they're declaring Chapter 11, I think, bankruptcy. Yeah, I got the email and I showed it to Dakota and he's like, nuh-uh, I hope I can get my crypto back out. They're promising that like, you're going to get your money back out. We're not the people who hold it anyways, but we are declaring Chapter 11 and we're still going to make good on our promises. But
yeah, when you're talking about buying and selling the crypto, I like to keep it really, really legit. Like, I actually use crypto.com, which, I mean, some people can say it's a little sketchy, but they just bought Lakers Stadium. They just bought Oracle Arena. Like, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they sponsor UFC. Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. So I was early adopter there, but yeah, I mean, that's where it gets exciting because let's say, first of all, crypto.com, Coinbase, I don't think they're going to have a Mt. Go crash. They have way too many protections in place. But if they were, they have insurance to back it now. Mm-hmm. So that's the peace of mind aspect of it.
Yep. Dude, it's funny because I feel like this podcast has been more informative than VCon. And we've been doing this now for about 47 minutes, and VCon was 3 days straight. And I think that you guys all just got more information from this podcast than if you went 3 days into VCon.
I mean, the guys on this side of the table too, talking about my side of the table, we're like knuckle draggers when it comes to like NFTs. Like we barely know anything. This is just information I've gathered from YouTube and talking to people.
Yeah, and the guys, that's the crazy thing at VCon is the guys who were there knew so much information, but they just didn't say anything.
That's the problem. Yeah. That was the disconnect was for people going to VCon, that's what it was. That's what it was drove towards is like people who already know all this. So, and then people who want to meet Gary Vee and stand in a line for 7 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Me, but
that was what more people were there for. But I was like, man, like I didn't learn anything. And so for me, I was like very unenthused. I wanted to leave after the first day because I wasn't learning, wasn't growing. And then like, it's cool to see celebrities, but I don't really like. I don't care that much. Like, can the celebrity teach me something that's gonna help my life or better my life? Then that's when I'm interested.
Exactly. But then that's where it comes in is like just building the relationships, and you gotta kind of put all caveats. Yeah, you had to create your own success at VCon for the first one, but yeah, once you build relationships, you start meeting people who have the similar interests. You start meeting people in real estate. You start meeting people who didn't meet a skydiver. That's what I got out of it is put yourself out there and build the relationships.
Yep, we met some cool people, but yeah, a lot of them were definitely more interested in NFTs, way more interested than I was.
Right.
Like I was like, yeah, I got an NFT, but like I don't want to sit here and talk about it forever unless like you're teaching me this really like simple stuff that apparently everybody knows anyway. That's the only stuff that I want to know is like what everybody else knows, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, just because of the type of investment too, I heard some folks say like, I can't really reveal like all of the smart contract stuff that we're going to do on the back end because it hasn't come out yet, but also because it's like a liability or an investment vehicle and that sort of thing. And so I was like, man, I'd really like to learn how to implement some of the strategies and learn things that businesses can do with these like incredible technology. I'd like to know how to use it.
Well, and that's where you start getting to the intermediate style of crypto and NFTs is that's what's amazing about crypto and NFTs is everything is public. So like you got your favorite NFT, you can check that contract on Etherscan. It's completely public. And if you know how to read those contracts, you can see what they're doing. And then you can analyze sometimes even like if you're getting into a riskier NFT, you can look at their contract and it's like, is this a rug pull or is this legit? But yeah, everything's public. It's so if you have the wherewithal and the fortitude to read all that, then it's all there.
Well, let's get into some of our final questions.
Okay.
What's your biggest struggle right now?
Biggest struggle? That's a good question. I've been pretty even keel right now. I would say right now is finding the best way to get out of that 9 to 5. It's so secure, especially in a recession right now, to keep it.
Yeah.
So that would be the biggest one for sure.
What do you think you got to do to figure that out?
I got ideas.
Nice.
I got ideas.
I like it.
We'll see what happens. Build during the recessions.
Yep.
Is all I'm gonna say.
Yep. I like it.
So 60 years from now, you have a billboard. It could be a message to the world. It'd be your legacy. Your final thoughts, a sentence, a mantra, a paragraph. What do you think the world needs to hear, or what is your message?
Full send, baby. Full send. If you you need to find what you like to do, you need to find what makes you happy, and you need to go for it 100%.
You're like full send. If there's a mountain and it's it can only
Jump
fit
off
this
again.
much, and you're going 300 miles an hour, you need to find a way to fit through that hole.
Thread that needle. I love it.
Like that lion in Madagascar or whatever that like jumps through the hoop. They just keep making the hoop smaller and smaller and smaller.
That's
Alex is like, I can do this.
a parent reference.
That's awesome.
That's funny too. I feel like whenever we ask folks that are a little bit more extreme, or like even Clint the closer, he just like Mamba mentality. It's always like 2 or 3 words, but then there's like this bigger meaning behind it. Yeah. I feel like the people who are like more likely to have like been through 4 years of college and what they're kind of like, I don't know. But Alex was just like, full send, baby.
Full send.
Yep, I
Full
love it.
send.
I like it, dude. You got any final thoughts that you think our listeners should know?
I guess other than the biggest thing in the news right now is the impending recession. Are we in the recession right now? Don't let that scare you into not investing. Don't worry about the downside. Think about the upside. And I'll leave it at that.
I like it.
How can people get a hold of you if they want to reach out after the podcast?
So I'm on Instagram. That's where I post the most. Alex_WWEST. I'm also on Facebook. I don't check that a lot. But yeah, other than that, find me. Let's go get a drink.
Cool. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Now, you guys need to message Gary V and let him know that we just gave more information than the entire VCon.
Elon Musk, hit him up.
Yeah, exactly. Elon hopefully will share this one for us, and yeah.
Hire Alex.
There you go.
Exactly.
Jump out of his.
He's going to send him up to Mars. Alex will be the
Release
first
the
person.
dragon. I'll be there.
All right, guys. Peace out.